Imagine it is a freezing cold Tuesday evening in January. The heating bill has just landed on your doormat, and it is astronomical. You decide to turn down the central heating to save money. Instead, you do what humans have done for thousands of years. You walk over to your fireplace, you throw on a few logs, and you light a fire. The room gets warm. The crackle of the wood is comforting. You feel safe in your own home. But outside, something is happening. A council enforcement officer is standing on the pavement looking up at your chimney. Or perhaps it is a drone, hovering silently above your roof, measuring the particulate matter in the smoke. A few days later, you don't get a warning. You get a fine. £1,000. You have just been criminalised for heating your own home. This is not a dystopian fiction. This is the new reality in the United Kingdom under the strict clean air targets of 2026. While you were worried about paying your mortgage and your energy bills, the government quietly passed new legislation that turns millions of chimneys into illegal hazards. They have declared war on the humble wood burner. In this video, I am going to expose the wood burner ban. I am going to explain exactly how the new laws work, why your local council is now incentivised to fine you, and why report-happy neighbours are being encouraged to snitch on you if they smell smoke. You need to watch this video until the very last second. Do not click away, because in the final section, I am going to reveal the DEFRA loophole, the specific type of stove and fuel that is still 100% legal. If you don't know this difference, you could be risking a £1,000 fine every time you strike a match. I will also explain the moisture meter strategy that protects you from prosecution. If you have a fireplace, an open fire, or a log burner, this information is critical to your financial safety. Let's get into it. First, we need to address the elephant in the room. Why is this happening now? For the last 5 years, we have been told to be green. We were told that burning wood was renewable. It was better than gas. It was natural. So hundreds of thousands of British homeowners installed expensive wood-burning stoves. It added value to the house. It looked nice. It was a backup heat source for when the power went out. But now, the narrative has flipped 180 degrees. The government has decided that wood burners are the new diesel cars. They claim that domestic burning is the single largest source of PM2.5 particulate matter, tiny particles that get into lungs. So, under the Environment Act, they have handed massive powers to local councils to crack down on it. This brings us to the smoke control areas. Most people in the UK have no idea if they live in one. You might assume these areas are just in the centre of London or Manchester. You would be wrong. Huge swathes of suburban England, towns, and even semi-rural villages have been designated as smoke control areas. In the past, the fine for emitting too much smoke was small and it was rarely enforced. You had to go to court to be fined. It was a hassle for the council. But the law has changed. The cap on fines has been removed and the process has been streamlined. Now, a local authority can issue a financial penalty of up to £1,000 on the spot if they see substantial smoke coming from your chimney. And here is the terrifying part. They don't need to enter your house to prove it. In the old days, they had to prove what fuel you were burning. Now, the smoke itself is the evidence. If smoke is releasing from a chimney in a smoke control area, you are guilty until proven innocent. And how are they finding you? Technology. We are seeing councils trialling high-tech air quality sensors on lampposts that detect spikes in burning. There are reports of councils using drone technology to survey neighbourhoods on cold nights to identify hotspots. But the most common surveillance tool is low-tech, your neighbour. The government has launched campaigns encouraging people to report nuisance smoke. If your neighbour doesn't like you, or if they are particularly zealous about air quality, they can log a complaint on the council website. They can take a video of your chimney on their iPhone. That video is evidence. We are entering an era of the curtain twitcher state, where neighbours are pitted against neighbours over who is allowed to keep warm. It is dividing communities, but it is not just about the smoke, it is about the fuel. You might think, I'll just buy wood from the petrol station, I'll be fine. Be careful. The ready-to-burn legislation has made it illegal to sell wet wood in small quantities. This sounds sensible on paper. Dry wood burns cleaner. But it has driven up the cost of fuel massively. Kiln-dried logs are expensive. So what are people doing? They are scavenging. They are finding pallets, old fence panels, or chopping down trees in the garden. This is where the trap snaps shut. If you burn treated wood, like an old fence panel with varnish or paint on it, you are releasing toxic chemicals. If the council catches you doing that, the fine isn't just the £1,000. It can go much higher under environmental protection laws. You are effectively burning toxic waste in a residential area. Let's talk about the open fire. If you live in a Victorian terrace or a 1930s semi, you probably have a lovely open fireplace. Maybe you use it at Christmas. In a smoke control area, using a traditional open fire with wood is now effectively illegal unless you are using smokeless fuel. Smokeless fuel is that manufactured coal-like briquette stuff. It doesn't look as nice, it doesn't smell like a wood fire, and it is expensive. If you put a real log on an open fire in a controlled zone, you are breaking the law. Period. There is no grey area. The romantic image of the British open fire is being legislated out of existence. This crackdown is hitting the poorest the hardest. We know that many people in rural areas or older properties rely on solid fuel because they are off the gas grid, or because electric heating is simply too expensive. A £1,000 fine for a struggling family is a disaster. It is a month's wages for some. It pushes them into debt. And for what? For trying to stay warm in a country that has some of the highest energy prices in Europe. It feels like a punishment for being poor. It feels like a punishment for being self-reliant. The government wants you hooked on the grid. They want you on a smart meter. They want you paying a standing charge to a multinational energy company. They do not want you gathering wood and heating yourself for free. That is the cynical view, but it is a view shared by millions of people who see this as an attack on freedom. The enforcement officers are being trained to look for telltale signs. They are looking for log piles in driveways. They are looking for blackened chimney pots. In some boroughs, they are cross-referencing stove installation records with air quality data. If you had a stove installed 5 years ago, you are on a list. They know you have it. If the air quality sensor on your street spikes at 6 p.m. on a Friday, they know it is likely you. This data-driven enforcement makes it almost impossible to hide. And do not think that owning an eco-designed stove saves you automatically. Yes, the new stoves are cleaner, but even the cleanest stove in the world will emit smoke if you use the wrong settings or the wrong wood. If you slumber the stove, which means turning the air vents down to make the fire burn slowly overnight, you create massive amounts of smoke. This is a common practice to keep the house warm until morning. It is now a prime target for fines. Slumbering a stove is a red flag for smoke emission. You might think you are being efficient. The council sees you as a polluter. But there is a legal lifeboat. It is called the DEFRA Exempt appliance. If you live in a smoke control area, which remember is most of us, you can only legally burn wood if you are using a stove that has been tested and exempted by the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. This is the golden ticket. These stoves are designed differently. They have modified air intakes that prevent you from fully closing the vents. This stops the wood from smouldering or slumbering, forcing it to burn hot and clean. If you have an older stove, perhaps one installed 10 or 15 years ago, there is a very high chance it is not DEFRA exempt. If that is the case, and you live in a controlled zone, you are legally forbidden from burning wood logs in it. You can only burn authorized smokeless fuels, those anthracite briquettes I mentioned earlier. If you put a log in a non-exempt stove in a smoke control area, you are breaking the law the moment you strike the match, regardless of how much smoke comes out. So, step 1 of your survival guide is to check your appliance. Look for the model number. Go to the DEFRA website or the HETA's website and search for it. If it is on the list, breathe a sigh of relief. You are allowed to burn dry wood. If it is not on the list, you have a choice to make. Switch to smokeless coal, upgrade the stove to a new eco-design model which costs thousands of pounds, or risk the fine. I cannot advise you to break the law, but I can tell you that the enforcement officers are looking for the heavy smoke users first. However, owning a DEFRA Exempt stove is not a get-out-of-jail-free card if you use the wrong fuel. This brings us to the most important £10 gadget you will ever buy, the digital moisture meter. You can buy these on Amazon or at Screwfix. It is a small handheld device with 2 metal prongs. You stick the prongs into the wood, and it tells you the moisture content. The legal limit for ready to burn wood is 20% moisture or less. If your wood is 25 or 30% moisture, it is wet. Wet wood is the enemy. When you put wet wood on a fire, the energy doesn't go into heating your room. It goes into boiling the water inside the log. This creates steam and lowers the combustion temperature. Low temperature means incomplete combustion. Incomplete combustion means smoke, soot, and particulate matter 2.5. This is what the drone sees. This is what the neighbour smells. This is what gets you fined. Here is the pro tip for using a moisture meter that most people get wrong. Do not just stick the prongs into the bark or the end of the log. The outside might be dry, but the inside could be soaking wet. You must take a log, split it open with an axe, and test the freshly split face in the centre of the wood. If that reading is under 20%, you are safe. If it is over 20%, do not burn it. Stack it, cover it, and leave it for another year. If as council officer ever knocks on your door, being able to show them a moisture meter and a stack of properly seasoned wood demonstrates due diligence. It shows you are a responsible operator, not a nuisance. It might just talk them out of issuing the penalty notice. We also need to talk about how you light the fire. Believe it or not, the way you were taught to build a fire is probably wrong. Most of us were taught to put paper at the bottom, kindling on top, and logs on top of that. This is the bottom-up method. The problem is, as the heat rises, it cooks the heavy logs on top before they catch fire, releasing massive amounts of thick white smoke for the first 20 minutes. In the new era of strict enforcement, those 20 minutes are your danger zone. You need to switch to the top-down method. You put the big logs on the bottom. You put the kindling on top, and you light the fire at the very top. The heat radiates down. It burns the particulate matter from the logs below before it can escape up the chimney. It produces almost zero smoke during the lighting phase. It looks weird the first time you do it, but it works. It heats the flue faster, establishes the draw, and keeps the smoke police away. If you are not using the top-down method in 2026, you are painting a target on your roof. But what about the future? Is this just the beginning? I'm afraid so. There are powerful lobby groups, such as Mums for Lungs and Doctors Against Diesel, who are now pivoting their focus entirely to domestic burning. They are lobbying for a total ban. They want to see wood burners treated exactly like smoking cigarettes in a pub, completely outlawed in urban areas. There are rumours circulating in Westminster that the next phase of legislation, possibly coming in 2030, will remove the DEFRA exemption entirely for cities like London, Birmingham and Manchester. If that happens, your £3,000 stove becomes a useless metal box in the corner of your living room. It becomes a stranded asset. We are already seeing estate agents whispering that a wood burner is no longer the value add it used to be. A few years ago, a feature fireplace added 5% to the value of a home. Now, buyers are asking, is it legal? Is it compliant? Will I get fined? If the total ban comes in, you might actually have to pay to have it removed before you can sell the house. This is part of a wider trend we cover on this channel. The war on homeowner autonomy. First, they told you what boiler you could have. Then, they told you how much insulation you needed for an EPC. Now, they are telling you what you can burn in your own fireplace. The direction of travel is clear: centralized control. They want you dependent on the electric grid, where the price can be controlled, the usage can be monitored, and the tax can be collected automatically. You cannot tax a log that you picked up in a forest. You can tax a kilowatt of electricity. That is the cynical economic reality behind the clean air narrative. So, Missy, should you rip your stove out? Not yet. If you are smart, if you are compliant, and if you use the strategies I have shared, DEFRA Exempt stove, moisture meter, top-down lighting, you can still enjoy the warmth and security of a real fire. But you have to treat it like a serious piece of machinery, not a casual hobby. You have to be vigilant. Let's summarize the rules of engagement for 2026. Rule number 1. Check if you are in a smoke control area. Assume you are. Rule number 2. Ensure your stove is DEFRA exempt. If not, burn smokeless fuel only. Rule number 3. Buy a moisture meter. Never burn wood over 20% moisture. Rule number 4. Use the top-down lighting method to minimize visible smoke. Rule number 5. Be a good neighbor. Don't burn trash. Don't create a nuisance. Your neighbor's iPhone is the council's best surveillance tool. The days of throwing any old rubbish on the fire are over. The era of the wood burner police is here. They have the powers, they have the fines, and they are looking for revenue. Do not give them an excuse to take £1,000 of your money. I want to know your thoughts on this. Is this a necessary measure to save our lungs and clean up the air? Or is it a step too far, an intrusion into private life and a tax on the poor? Have you received a warning letter? Are your neighbours complaining? Let me know in the comments below. The debate in the comments section on our last video was incredible, and I want to see what you think about this one. If you found this survival guide useful, please hit that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that we are sharing valuable information that the mainstream media often glosses over. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. In my next video, I'm going to investigate the fleasehold scandal, the hidden tax on new build estates where homeowners are paying thousands of pounds a year to private companies just to cut the grass. It is a massive scam, and if you are buying a new build, you need to watch it. Until then, keep your wood dry, keep your smoke low, and I will see you in the next one.